Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Business First Creatives. Melissa Arlena is back. And this time we're not going to talk about SEO. We're not going to talk about blogging. Well, actually, maybe we're going to talk about blogging a little bit. But she is back here. And I've just decided maybe she should just come on like every few months and we'll just have a conversation. Because like today, before we hit record, we were like, okay, like what are we talking about? So today we're going to talk about Airtable. But Melissa, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. And now we're finally hitting record. We've been chatting for like 20 minutes on other things.
Well, hey, all that stuff was good. I really wish we'd hit record on all that so I could have had it transcribed. But it's all right. Lessons learned. I will never have a conversation with you again that is not recorded.
I feel like that's a compliment.
It is. Please take it as one. So guys, today, instead of talking about SEO and blogging, which is what Melissa and marketing, we talked about marketing last time when you came on with Allison. Instead of talking about those kinds of topics, I want to talk to Melissa about using Airtable in your business. Now, caveat, she is not going to talk about using Airtable as a photographer. So if that is why you are tuning in and hoping to hear, it's okay. It's tangentially going to be useful for you. But one of the questions that I get asked all the times by photographers and other service providers is, hey, Coley, I see that you do Dubsado and HoneyBook, but I also see that you do Airtable. Like, what do you use for each one? And I've never really had an episode where I'm really talking about this in depth, but Melissa bought my Client Hub out of the system shop. And then she ended up coming back to me and having me build a couple of more custom hubs for her business after she saw what Airtable will do. So Melissa, first, why did you buy the Client Hub? Like what caught your eye and what were you hoping to get out of that first template purchase?
Honestly, education and learning. Like I'm the type of person that likes to, if I'm buying a course, like learning how to do something myself, the behind the scenes, because this is what happens. When it breaks, I don't want to have to go call you, although I have, and be like, I don't know why this isn't working. Like I want to know the behind the scenes of how it's going to work so that I can fix it if it does break. But I also can appreciate your knowledge skill set and go, okay, she can build out this huge thing. I'm not going to take the time to learn all of that, but I can learn enough that if I mess up a cell or something or put the wrong thing in, I'm not having to go back to you and figure out what to do. And I mean, like I got exposed to Airtable through another course where they had pre-set up the thing, but because they pre-set up, which was great, that was what I paid for. But I was like, I don't know how this works. Like, I don't understand how it gets fed in. So I was like, if I take Coley's course, then I can learn how this actually works on the behind the scenes. And now I could do more with it later.
Yeah. So I want to clarify for the listening audience because Melissa is calling it a course. It's not actually a course. Oh. It's a template. No, it's okay. This is a good point. It's a template that comes with training videos.
Yes.
So
there we go.
It's not referred to as a course on the website, but in essence, I am giving you a tool and I give you several videos that show you how to set it up. And there's a few that are kind of walking you through the decisions that I made so that if you need to make a different decision, you can. So in that case, I mean, it's a mini course, but I didn't want anybody to like run to my website and be like, I don't see an Airtable course. Like, there's not an Airtable course. There are several templates that just happen to have me giving you education inside of them because I can't help myself. I'm sorry. It's the former professor in me.
Well, and I think when I went to find it, it was hard to find on your, like, it wasn't on your, it was, I remember at that time, I think I had to scroll down to like a banner image or something and it was there, but I was like, I know she has this in here. Where is it?
Well, I mean, we can actually talk about websites because I did an offer review with Seals Lockley. And one of the things that she said was on my everything page, it was very confusing who needed what. And I said, well, it's because I do a lot of things. But as you know, I have been doing a lot of offer refinement. And so when I come back from summer sabbatical, my website is going to be way clearer. But I also feel like you came to me for Airtable when it wasn't something that I was doing a lot of. And so I didn't mind that it was kind of hidden on my website in a way because people are not really coming to me specifically for Airtable. They're coming to me for CRM system setups. And then they're discovering, oh, hey, she's got this Airtable hub. That sounds kind of cool. And of course, not everybody needs or appreciates the Client Hub, but the one that I'm really selling like to everyone is that $9 content hub that we talked about in the last episode with you and Allison. I mean, people are actually finding that one. And it's kind of funny. I tried to expand my marketing to Pinterest recently. My CRM client experience pins are doing absolute shit, Melissa. Like no one's clicking. They're barely getting any reach. But you know what people click and save and come to the website? Oh, those Airtable pins. So, I mean, maybe I do need to give it a little zhuzh. Maybe I need to do something, because definitely from Pinterest, that is my highest traffic.
Yeah. And I think for me, the Airtable part too, like we talked about, this wasn't on the photography side. I have a CRM for the photography side, but I needed something that was going to let me track at that time. Really, it was the blogging club, because I have ThriveCart, and I don't know if you have this problem, but I have a hard time with the recurring income, looking at ThriveCart and figuring out exactly how much money did I actually make last month for this particular thing without like, okay, well, this offer made this offer made that. Let me subtract. I was like, this is too much math. I want one spot where I can go and see how much I made each month. And so that was part of it.
Well, and you do know that ThriveCart now has the new dashboard in ThriveCart will show you your monthly recurring revenue. I did think that was a really nice update.
I think my problem is I have several offers for the blogging club. So then I still have to click on each offer, look at what the cost is, and then add them together. And I was like, I don't want to be the calculator. I just want it all somewhere else and it to work and me to see it all in one place, which was how, like, especially with Airtable, you were able to show me like how to do all of that stuff.
Yeah. So in essence, if you're listening to this episode and you're like, hey, I have that problem, it's creating automations that will project your monthly payments and put them in a table. And then when the recurring payments actually come in, you want Airtable to match that to the projected one that's already been created. So, I mean, that's the magic, guys. I mean, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but basically that's what you do in order to see how much money you have coming in the future, as well as matching payments as they come in. And of course, one of your other big things was, well, what happens when someone cancels?
Yeah.
That was the other thing that we took care of, is when people are actually canceling from the club, like, what are we doing in order to make sure that we're taking them out of active status? We're not continuing to project a next month's payment for them and those kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I mean, especially because a lot of it obviously involves zaps and stuff like that to make the systems talk, and then fleshing those guys out with like, oh, well, now, because I do understand that part, now let me make sure I'm going to tag it. I think recently I was like, I need to put a little remove from Flodesk segment as another step onto this one. It's already doing everything else we need. Now go ahead and take it out of that active segment. So I'm not emailing an upcoming meeting to someone who's not part of the club anymore.
Yeah. Absolutely. I absolutely love what happens when you hire someone and, you know, they walk you through it, because you were one of the first people, I would say. I always talk about my 5-minute rule, and I feel like a lot of people just ignore it. Like, do you know, girl, right now on the podcast, and hey, when people listen to this, there might still be one in the beginning where I say I will give you a 10-minute systems quickie for free. And people are not taking me up on it. And I don't understand. Why would you not come get 10 minutes of my time for me to tell you what to do next? It's my biggest joy in life, guys, is to help you pick one thing that you can go do. But I remember when you were like, hey, Coley, I'm going to take you up on this 5-minute thing. I'm trying to do this, and it's not working like it worked when you did it for me. So can you help me figure it out? And basically I was like, yeah, you need to stop. That just doesn't work with the piece of software that you're trying to make it work with. So I was glad that I could kind of impart that piece of knowledge to you so that you could stop wasting your time. But I do love that, like, from what I built for you and the things that we discussed, you were able to go like replicate that in a whole new system on your own.
That's what I was going to tell you. I'm like, I've created several like Airtable, and that whole system, I was creating a failed payment system for another client. And we have it all dialed in that, like, then when a new payment comes in and it resolves, it'll automatically do this. And after 2 weeks, if they haven't done it, they get an email. And like now, instead of the poor client that I was working with who was having to literally, you know, a payment would fail, she's emailing herself. I was like, oh God, you can't be doing that. I'm like, no. So now it's all set up that, and actually the client was looking at their Stripe, like how their churn for payments or whatever. But basically we've gotten better. I don't remember what the actual terms are, but she's like, us losing clients because of failed payments has gone down since putting this whole system together, and they don't have to email anybody. I know. And I was like, yes. If I had not gotten the Client Hub template and learned the little bit of behind the scenes of how everything interacts with each other, I wouldn't be able to build these out later. And, you know, some of these are small things of like, okay, hey, when we get a blog submission to go on here and we're trying to, you know, there's just all these different small ones. I feel like I'm still not complicated. minus the whole failed payment one. That one was super complicated, but the other ones I've built are simple, and that's fine. If I get one that's super complicated, I will probably just come back to you and say, okay, can I hire you?
Can I hire you again? One of the things that I've set up recently is for my new program, Systems in Session, I'm actually running the whole thing out of Airtable. Yeah. So the moment that they pay me in ThriveCart, they get zapped over into Airtable.
Yep.
And then inside of Airtable, it automatically loads them in a table. And all I have to do is look at it, and I'm still approving it because, you know, I just like to approve it. But when I click it, it sends them the email that says, hey, welcome to Systems in Session. The first step is to do your kickoff call. Please click this link and schedule. And then the moment that they've scheduled their kickoff call, it sends them an intake form to fill out, which is rather lengthy. And, you know, you can always do, well, should you do the call first or second? Whatever. You can do it in whatever order you want. But then the entire rest of the system is run in there. So every time they schedule one of their 20-minute support calls, it gets put into a table. And inside of that table, I can link them to the recording. Yeah. I can identify what the one task is that's most important for them to do after the call. And then if I haven't heard from them that they have done the task, I can click a button and it will send them a reminder pulling in what the task is.
Yes.
And then there's the whole support ticket system, because I'm a glutton for punishment and I give my people both options. You can schedule a call with me or you can fill out a support ticket. So in a different table, it's, you know, they're filling out a form, they're sending it to me. And that is the same one that I've always done for like my VIP day clients.
Right.
I have a spot where I can write them a response. And then if I need to, I can send them up to 3 follow-ups for the same ticket so that I make sure that all of the information is in one spot for me. And I'm not trying to go between a bunch of tickets to figure out what I told them and what I didn't tell them. Yeah. But I'm in love with my system. I'm in love with it.
Yeah. And there were some things when you set mine up where I remember it was like the emails, the automation emails on things. Fabulous. And you were like, they're off. You need to go adjust them and turn them on. And I'm a little embarrassed to tell you that I just went in and adjusted some and turned them on.
It's been a year, Melissa. Exactly a year.
So one of them was if a client has joined the blogging club and that we just do a check-in like 2 or 3 weeks later of like, hey, you just joined, just want to check in and stuff. And so I finally edited the email on and sent it. And like, I've gotten responses where people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been a couple weeks. It's summer. I've been busy. And so then I implemented, I think the same thing, I had to implement it on my group coaching because that I already had that Airtable set up, but I implemented the same thing there to like check in because, you know, we all get busy. And while yes, I'm your coach, I also have other people. And if you're not showing up to practice, I need a reminder to go find you. And so I set that up too. Like, so that's fixed. So now I don't have to remember if they haven't submitted any of the forms or any of the homework that they're supposed to, the system flags it instead of Melissa remembering when they joined. And we send off the email. And then it also, you know, brings it to top of mind for me to check in with them, you know.
Yeah, that's okay. My favorite feature in Airtable is sending emails through Gmail. Like, yes. And I do that with my podcast manager, my virtual assistant, all of my, you know, Systems in Session people, my VIP day clients, everybody is in Airtable and most of them get automated emails from me in some fashion. Yeah. But my second most favorite thing is gathering up, they call it a roll-up. Gathering up all of someone's submissions and saying, hey, if one of these, if there isn't one in the last 30 days, do this. Yes. And I do that like what you just said. Yeah. I do it if someone joins the CRM blueprint and they haven't filled out their intake form. Yeah. I do it in Systems in Session if it's been more than 7 days and I haven't gotten a support ticket from you or I haven't seen you on a call. Like that was one of my proudest moments because those are in 2 different tables, but making it look at both in order to tell me that, hey, this person has basically been MIA for a week because they only get 60 days. Like I want to make sure that I am doing as much as possible to give you the accountability, but I don't have the mental capacity to sit here at my desk and like make check marks for everybody. Like ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah. And it was one of those, I think I had realized that somebody had kind of slipped through the cracks on me and that she hadn't showed up. She paid, she joined, but then she didn't do anything. And so I was like, okay, I need to get this stuff in order. And then I felt like, all right, well, this is on me too as her coach. So I was able at that point to go to her and just be like, hey, I'm going to give you another 2 months in this program because I get life's busy and I have not checked on you. I have failed you as the coach on that because I didn't enable the automations that Coley set up for me. But welcome. Now I'm like, no, if I'm reminding you and you're still not showing up, like I've done my due.
Yeah, that's definitely a you. And I will say, like, my systems and session people are like, oh my God, thank you so much. Because I actually do. And I do double duty. It's a little weird. Like, I also check to see if I've written them, because one of my most favorite activities for my systems and session people is I sit down every Friday and I actually send them a check-in. I'm like, hey, I see that you're on my calendar for next week. Cause I mean, I don't have that many people.
Right.
It is not a program that I'm trying to scale to like hundreds at a time. Like I just want 8 people. And so I can just run through and every person gets a note. That way I know that I have personally touched bases with them. I have seen whether they're already on my calendar. I can remind myself of what specific task it is. And then sometimes I will be like, okay, your task was to finish your proposal. If it's not done yet, I need you to schedule a call so that you can tell me what is delaying you from finishing it. Now, if it's life, that's one thing. But a majority of the time, it's not life. It's you got stuck on this one thing and then you didn't move forward. But hello, that is what I'm here for. I need you to tell me so that I can give you a resource or make you a video to get you to move forward.
Yeah. Because I think with both of us, like the goal of this is we want you to, I'm not just trying to take your money. I want you to walk away with something fixed and done. And like, you can check that off your list. But if you pay me money and then don't show up and you don't check anything off, I'm upset. I'm disappointed because like, I didn't get to help you.
Yeah. I feel like not everyone is me. I feel like you are me though. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I pay somebody like for a program or for as a coach or whatever it is. And then I immediately start working on the shit I just paid them to do. Does that make sense? Like I am like already starting to work forward. But also if I joined your program, like I am going to show up. So for example, this is really biting me in the ass at the moment, Melissa. I joined someone's program and she lives in Australia. Guess what time the office hours are?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that's not good.
11 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Oh geez.
And you know what? I show up every day. Why? Because I paid you. Yeah. And my husband was like, but the office hours can be asynchronous. Like you get to post it and come back tomorrow. I said, yeah. But then if she's not going to see my answers or my responses or my follow-up questions for another couple days, that's another couple days I have to wait. Yeah. I'm like, no, I would rather just be awake, drink some coffee, take a nap. It'll be fine. I mean, it's not going to last forever.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with those office hours. I know for me, we have group coaching calls like twice a month. And especially over the summertime, you know, I'll have where either no one shows up or one person shows up. And I will tell people when they join, I'm like, look, here's the deal. Not everybody joins the Q&A calls to get I was like, so if you're the only one, you get my attention for an entire hour. And I will be like, girl, give me the login. Let's do this. We'll walk through stuff. I'm like, and even if I think we had one the other day where I was doing that with one girl, another girl, she was brand new. She was like, I'm just here to watch. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, you're going to watch us work on her website. But definitely, I think people don't take advantage of the Q&A type stuff in the office hours.
To take advantage. It's funny because 2 years ago, I took all the support out of the CRM blueprint and I want to bring it back because I do feel like I have turned a corner and I'm like, I want people to have support. I want them to feel like I'm still their coach and getting their systems done, even if it's a quote unquote self-paced course. But I don't want to go back to group calls because the whole reason that I turned them off was because it only takes my people so long to get their system set up. And then they really don't need calls anymore. Yeah. And so if I'm not continuously bringing like a large number of people in every single month, I end up on calls sometimes where I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs. And that's not a productive use of my time.
I have a 15-minute cutoff limit. If no one shows up in 15 minutes, I sign off.
I mean, but still, I've blocked that hour off of my calendar where I could have been doing something else. So I'm playing around with, and you'll appreciate this, an Airtable form.
I think I already have an Airtable form for this.
I'm going to allow people to kind of submit. It's not going to be support tickets because I don't want to go back to doing that kind of thing on demand. But when you are at the end of the CRM blueprint and you want to submit your full client experience, the same audit that I was charging $450 for when I was going through everything plus your CRM setup, I've now changed that offer to only be $250, but I'm only going through your client experience. Like I'm not going through your entire CRM because you know what I realized? Nobody cared about that. They just wanted me to like look at their workflows and look at their emails and their assets and tell them. But so now for my next launch, I am going to include that audit as part of your course, as long as you submit it. And I haven't decided if it's going to be like 60 days or 90 days. But here's the thing. I can use Airtable to look at the date that they, that they joined. And if they haven't submitted that client experience audit at 30 days, I'm going to send them an email. If they haven't submitted it right before whatever deadline I choose, 60 or 90 days, I'm going to send them a couple more reminders. Now, if you miss it, that's on you.
Right.
But I'm going to give you every opportunity to take advantage of that kind of support so that you have even more confidence in your systems when you hit publish.
Yeah, that's one thing at the end of, so we have a content submission form in Airtable. And so they'll submit to me like, okay, I'm ready for you to check my homepage for stuff. And then I have it set. I love it where I like just drop in the Loom video link. And then because the email's already automated, then I just hit go.
Pulls it in.
Yeah. And then at the end of it, I'll do I do a review initially of their website and basically tell them this is all the stuff I need you to fix while you're in the course. And then let's walk through it all. Because it gives them that thing. If I'm like, hey, look, your headers are a mess. You need to pay attention to the headers section. So it makes it a lot easier, and then at the end, they submit it one more time. But like having those forms, be able to see where somebody's at and having this conversation, I want to go back because mine's a 4-month program. And I want to go back and kind of have a thing that if you haven't submitted your keyword research in the first 2 weeks, because that's an easy one, you can knock that out in an afternoon, that you're going to get an email. And then after that, I'll probably go 4 weeks after that. Okay, if they haven't submitted their homepage, let me check in. And then 4 weeks after that, if they haven't submitted their landing page, check in. And then a blog post. And then and then they start getting the, okay, hey, your time in the program's ending email. So at that point you should know. But I do think having that follow-up and stuff, and it makes people feel taken care of. It makes them feel like you care, which you do care. It's just, I don't know. I'm 45. I need like reminders. I have sticky notes everywhere. I have to set 2 repeat reminder alarms whenever my dogs have a grooming appointment, because I can't tell you how many times the groomer has texted me and said, hey, are you still coming? And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I knew this appointment was here. It's on the calendar. It's in my phone. And it's 10 minutes after the appointment and the dog's not there. I'm like, what? So I need systems.
I feel like my thing is I will sit down. I will literally be like, oh, I have a call, at 10 o'clock. And at 9:50, I get distracted and I start working. And if it wasn't for the little alarms going off on the computers and flashing on me and all, no, I would completely miss these calls. So while you were talking, I figured out what we're going to call this episode. Creating accountability in Airtable.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Because I think you and I have just talked about a bunch of accountability shit and how we are using Airtable, not only for ourselves as we run our courses and our group programs and provide support to our one-to-one clients, but also like helping our, clients and students take up their own accountability by, sending these automated reminders and such.
Yeah, it's very much like looking at whatever, if you're a photographer, looking at your photography client experience and like, are you sending reminders? Are you checking in on things? And so, it's customer service. It's just having good customer service. And sometimes you just need a little assistance with your customer service.
And now, you know what? Now that you said photographer, I'm going to bring it back around to our photographers because we love them. If you've listened to this entire episode and you're like, I don't have a group program, I don't have a course, I don't do one-to-one clients that need this kind of thing. One of the things that I think Airtable is most amazing for photographers is tracking the last time that you saw one of your clients. Now, Melissa doesn't need this. And, she can rub it in my face all she wants. She has Tave. So Tave will actually tell you the last time that someone booked their session. It is amazing. None of the other ones do. They're just.
Did you hear Tave got sold?
Again?
Yeah. They are now owned by, this is probably a tangent, VSCO. The Instagram filter people.
I know the people who used to make Photoshop actions.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's a whole thing. We're all still trying to figure out what's going on because obviously when they got bought by Shootproof, that went into the crapper. Well. So everyone's terrified right now, but they're promising upgrades and stuff like that. So it might even get even better and you'll be really sad you're not with them.
That will be interesting. And you know what? I feel like they are here. Visco might be in Colorado Springs.
They might.
I mean, at least they were. I feel like they were here in Colorado years ago. But
you might have to add Tave to your Dubsado and your HoneyBook.
Now listen, I'm trying to simplify over here, girl. I have had 2 different coaches tell me, "Do you want to just go back to being the Dubsado girl?" And I'm like, life was easier back then. But then someone pays me for a full HoneyBook setup, and I'm like, maybe not now. Maybe next month. But coming back around to like,
Yes.
if you don't have Tave and you are not like Melissa, no matter who owns it, your Airtable Hub can tell you the last time that you have seen your clients. And if it's been more than a year, if it's been more than 18 months, you can have Airtable automatically email your clients, or you can have it send you a reminder so that you can reach out personally. So
because maybe you don't want to work with them again.
Hey. So I did just want to bring it all the way back around, because I feel like this conversation kind of got started by photographers are constantly asking me, but what do I need Airtable for? And so like that is a really good way to have some accountability when you are dealing with your clients. Now, other things that Airtable are good for are giving you like the big bird's eye view of your business. How much are you making each month? How many leads are you bringing in? What kinds of offers are selling the most? What's your conversion rate? And yes, you can get these things in other ways, but it's complicated. And like you get the numbers and then you still got to do the damn math. And as I've heard several times this week, people are like, I don't like the maths. And I'm like, no, I love the math. So let me help you set it up in Airtable so that you never have to do it again. Okay, that's my little spiel for the photographers who are probably listening.
Well, the other thing that you have set up with the Client Hub is opt-ins. Freebie opt-ins on tracking that. And that is even something photographers can do, which actually I have a question for you afterwards that I'm gonna have you look at my opt-in because I think I broke it. But so I'm going to use that 5-minute freebie. But I think with photographers and stuff, if you hook up Airtable with Flodesk and you can get the email address and the opt-in, and even as a photographer, you can have opt-ins, you can have lead magnets and stuff to attract your local clients. But then you can see, is this lead magnet working? Yeah. Like, is it turning into bookings?
Anyone who gets it buying your services?
Right. Yes. Or are they inquiring or anything like that? Because even if you have somebody who's like, oh, well, they download the lead magnet and they inquired, but they didn't book, but you still know, okay, well,
it's working.
It's working. That one's particularly working. So that's even a way for photographers. And then I know you have the Content Hub, which I still haven't set up because I've just abandoned social media. So
no, but you could do your blogging in the Content Hub.
I probably need to look over that because I have a girl, she's putting my blog posts, like all the photos in and stuff like that. So she handles that part. I handle the writing part. She makes sure it's like inserted with all the stuff that it needs and then the photos and everything.
And honestly, can you just use the Content Hub for organization? That is where, I mean, especially if
you're like, girl, you bought it, please use it.
Yes. I mean, and it was cheap. It's fine. But I want you to use it for organization because that's where I literally store all of the things, like my Canva links. The things that I need, log in, maybe not actual passwords if you don't want to do that, but the links, to go find the stuff. I mean, and then, whatever your content pillars are, or just the topics that you've already covered in your blog post. It's so flexible. There are so many things that you can do inside of that Content Hub.
Well, and that's where I would tell people too, it's very overwhelming when there's a new system and people are like, oh, you could do this, you could do that. And you're like, I don't know how to do any of that. And that's where that links back to the very first thing of like, why did I buy this template? And it's because it's already set up for you at that point. You don't have to go and figure out how to plug this in here or do that there. Like Coley's already put it together. She's already said, this is the stuff you need to know and you need to be tracking and you need to have eyes on. And she's created it in Airtable. So then I don't even I could add to it. I could spruce it up, but I'm not starting from ground zero. I'm starting from, a foundation and I can build up from there. Yeah. And so that's a big thing. I'm always willing to pay for that of that leg up so that I'm not starting at scratch.
Yeah. Okay, guys, Melissa and I could literally talk about Airtable for hours, just like I do with Onami. See, this is what happens. I introduce all of my friends to Airtable, and then they never shut up about it. Thank you. You're welcome. But I do hope that those of you that are listening to this episode have gotten some idea of how you could potentially use Airtable inside of your business. And hey, if you need help, I have templates and you can hire me to help you set it up just like Melissa did. So if you go to ColeyJames.com, there is a link to the Airtable goodies down on a bar, like she said, because it doesn't have its own spot yet. I don't know if it will before this airs. Actually, why don't you guys go to ColeyJames.com/Airtable? I'm pretty sure that has the templates, actually, to be honest. It's just not linked anywhere. So you know what? That's a different problem for a different day. Melissa, thank you so much for coming back to the podcast. We're going to do it again soon.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Everyone, that's it for this episode. See you next time.